Superb. Sunshine. I guess spring weather is almost here.
I couldn't resist the temptation. I had to go for a run.
Yeah, took a nice little walk today as well, so fresh air, sunshine on my skin,
Yeah.
melanin.
I guess we're back again on the pod, so there's quite a few interesting topics to touch on today. So what do you say? Let's get right into it.
Yeah. Fire off.
Let's do it. All right. So out here in BC, one of the things as everyone's talking about is the removal of the mask mandate, if you may.
Yeah, outside we're back.
We really are back. You don't have to wear a mask right indoors right now or in the elevator, which is super. It's a relief for me.
Mm-hmm.
And we're actually recording from the library right now, which is one of my favorite places. But I haven't been coming here in so long because I don't want to have to wear a mask for a couple of hours.
Yeah, I know, and this is my first, I guess, public setting since they removed since they told us that, we can take off our masks and stuff, so I haven't really gone anywhere else. Yeah, it just feels good to be able to just walk in and really not wear one, right?
True.
So, yeah, I mean, it might be controversial for some people, but me, I'm glad to take it off.
Oh, I've been ready. I'm ready. I've been ready the whole time, and I'm glad it's off now. And one of the adjacent effects of that is there's been a lot of talk and a lot of action about back to the office for many companies. What do you think about that?
Nope. Nah, but yeah, a lot of companies. I'm like, what's the hurry though? Like, you guys did this for what? How many years was this pandemic now? I don't know. It feels like one long year, but 2 years, something like that. Like, you've done it for so long. What's the hurry to get back into the office? Right? At the very least, I think no one should be going back to the office full time. I feel like it should be, like at the very least a hybrid, right? So you go in, some days, and some other days you stay home, because you're just more. It's more efficient for you that way. Better work-life balance. You get to do a lot more with your day as well, rather than spending 2 hours or whatever in transit going to work.
I like the idea of a hybrid myself. As much as I enjoy the luxury of days where I feel like sleeping in, rolling out of bed and just walking, 10 feet to the computer, I do feel like there will be a lot more opportunities for water cooler conversations in the office. Yeah. And, that's how you meet people that can help you level up if you are in a space where, networking is key, which we often do right now over Zoom, Google Meet, or Teams, whatever tool you're using at your workplace.
Yeah, for sure. Teams or whatever, yeah. But at the same time, yeah, that's why I still think it should be hybrid, because I just don't think I can go back to that. I can't go back to that life, of getting up, hours before work, getting ready, packing up everything, going all the way to work. Now I have time to do a lot more things in my life because I'm not using that extra hours to go to work, so I can go to the gym instead. And from there go to work. And when I'm done work, I can quickly get into house chores rather than transit in another hour, And if it's a hybrid, yeah, for sure, let's do a hybrid. But the thing is that we're never going to go back to that life that we saw before. So even those water cooler conversations, who's to say you're going to be in the office at the same time as whoever you're going to be chatting with, right? If it's a hybrid. So that person you might run into normally at the water cooler and in the lunchroom or whatever, it might not be the same because they're going to be like, okay, only 5 people from this team can come in. Maybe culture days, everyone in that department comes in, whatever it might be. So, we're going into a different sort of era now, and I think we just have to adapt to whatever it is. We might be having those water cooler conversations over at, virtual. You might see something pop up like that where it's like, you go get a virtual water when you actually get a water in your home. So who knows?
Yeah, I feel like in for example, my workplace, it's kind of like coffee, right? You get coffee with someone where you don't necessarily have to have a literal coffee. It's just literally a video call, and you still meet people. It's super nice. It works out.
Yeah, for sure.
What I'm curious about, though, is this impact, since we know for certain that a lot of companies will not be going 100% full-time back to the office, what happens to all of the empty spaces?
Reconversion, like convert to something else, maybe.
I think about that.
I feel like there was probably more office spaces than companies anyways. I don't feel like, office spaces is something that was
overutilized in the first place?
Yeah, so like I feel like even if it may have been overutilized actually, because if they leave now, I feel like there's other companies that might want that space, right? Or, just maybe a company just wants a bigger space in general, and now they have the opportunity to get that bigger space, right? Some companies let go of their spaces entirely during the pandemic, like completely, like they went full remote, let go of their spaces completely. So I mean, I think we'll survive. Like the real estate is there, we're going to continue using them. You know, we can change the uses, right? So maybe we'll see more functional designs now, maybe cohabiting spaces, you know, of companies sharing costs for a space instead, right, and putting more effort into design and comfort for the workers. Like, you might see that might be a positive thing.
What I would like to see is for cities like Toronto, Vancouver, where getting a property or renting is super expensive, if they were to repurpose these buildings in some kind of way where it would be adequate for living in, it would make a lot more sense, because currently the way office buildings are designed is so weird. The bathrooms are not the kind of things you want in your apartment. You know, they don't have regular toilets or whatever. And it's going to end up being a lot of empty spaces, because I don't know if there's going to be more than enough companies to fill all of those spaces. That said, it would be nice to see a repurposing where it kind of makes more property, more living spaces available for people en masse.
Yeah, or maybe we can just see bigger spaces and not have cramped desks where you're sitting down, you know, just see a more open, bigger space that you can work in and make it more, instead of putting us in these little tiny cubicles,
little corners.
Like, you know, get us working in just better workspaces, right? Because, I mean, in terms of repurposing or, you know, changing them into something, I'm not sure how that might go down, because it might be, you know, maybe zoning laws or bylaws and blah, 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 and security as well, because you might not be able to have like a residential unit in a commercial building, especially security-wise. Maybe you need a pass card to get in, access to another floor, like things like that, you know, after hours. So it might get complicated, and maybe some areas might just be commercial use.
So and it might get really weird if you're having a Monday meeting with a slide deck and someone walks by with their robe and brushing
exactly.
their teeth.
And just come down, even coming downstairs to the lobby in their robe or whatever, just not a very professional look in that area at all, right? So
fair.
That's one thing to think about too.
In terms of thinking about, I know there's a lot of deliberation going on with who's going to win what in the upcoming Academy Awards. Is this something you caught up with?
Yeah, I mean the 94th Academy Awards, the Oscars, you know, popularly known as. There's a few. Honestly, this year is a struggle in terms of Best Picture, because there's a few good pictures in there. We've got Nightmare Alley up for grabs, as well. We've got Don't Look Up. Who else is in there? Dune was a good one too. We've got King Richard.
Belfast. I heard Belfast was really good.
Yeah, you've got West Side Story, which I don't think should be on that list, if I'm being honest. I don't think West Side Story is Best Picture material.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a remake, but...
Yeah, and it's a musical by the Steven
Spielberg,
right?
Yeah, but it's not... I mean, it has a shocking end, but it's not Oscar. The performance, like what I consider to be Oscar worthy.
Yeah.
The Power of the Dog, now that's a really good performance. Yeah. The acting in there, the storyline, just the visuals, everything about that movie was really good, right?
What I want to see is Drive My Car. I've heard it's a pretty
I haven't
amazing
seen that
film.
one, actually.
I heard it's a pretty awesome film.
Yeah, I'll put that on my list. I definitely want to see all of the movies on here. I've seen Nightmare Alley. That's also a remake. Bradley Cooper in it. Interesting film, but I feel like The Dog is stronger, King Richard is stronger. My money is I'll probably go with The Power of the Dog or King Richard, especially because of Will Smith's performance in there. He had a really good performance, even from the way he walked. He really studied his character quite well. So, I mean, we might see that go well. And,
I think that's a good segue into the Best Actor category.
Exactly. So, obviously, Will Smith is in there for Best Actor as well.
Papa Denzel. That's what I call
Denzel's in there for Tragedy of Macbeth. But you know what? I haven't seen the Tragedy of Macbeth. I've just been put off by the whole black and white theme of it. So it hasn't pulled me in to go watch. Have you seen it?
Not yet. But it's something that I feel like a lot of times when you ask about seeing stuff, the answer is always no. Because I always wait for this like perfect moment, you know, to watch this thing in a cozy environment or whatever. Yeah. But this is one film that I really, really want to see because I love the black and white aesthetic. Yeah. I think it was directed by the Coen brothers, who I really, really admire, right?
Yeah, I mean, so black and white gives me like, you know, old school 70s vibes. So I'm not really too into it. Like, I know Denzel is doing more of this sort of like stage play hybrid movie thing these days because he did Fences, right? I think Fences did win an Oscar, no?
I do not recall.
They won some awards. I mean, Fences was pretty good, and it was like, I guess, one set, but filmed as a movie, right? So it's sort of maybe the same thing with Macbeth, but the whole black and white thing sort of put me off. The same thing with his son, actually, which is funny.
You think Tenet?
Not Tenet,
the one with,
but he did another movie that was black and white.
Yeah, was it the one with Zendaya?
Was Zendaya in that movie? I'm not sure who else was in it, but the whole movie is black. It's a Netflix movie too.
Yeah.
And it was all black and white. I was like, okay, father like son, what's going on here?
So for Fences, Viola Davis won Best Supporting Actress at the Academy Awards.
Oh, and Best Supporting. Okay.
Yeah, and Denzel was nominated for Best Actor but did not win.
But didn't win. Okay,
yes.
So he was just nominated in that one.
Yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch, really good performance in Power of the Dog. I mean, I haven't seen Tick Tick Boom. It's on my list. I haven't seen. That's for Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
If you guys remember him from Spider-Man.
Yes.
And they got Javier Bardem being the Ricardos. I haven't also seen that one too. But just from the three other performances, Power of the Dog and King Richard, those are strong contenders for me.
Yeah.
And then I haven't seen Tragedy of Macbeth, but I feel like that is a strong contender just because of what I know of Denzel.
Yeah.
And stuff from the trailers, it's probably a good bet.
And his walk, I saw the trailer and I couldn't miss it, right? I think he does with his shoulders when he walks. It's like, this is unmissable. But yeah, I think for the Best Actress category, there's a lot of films that were not super popular. Yeah. But I bet the performances are amazing.
So from the Best Actress performances, right, for Best Actress, only one of the films on there was actually nominated for Best Picture.
Being the
Being the Ricardos.
The Ricardos with Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, actually, they weren't even nominated for Best Picture. They just had an actor
for Best Actor
category. So technically, none of the films for Best Actress were nominated for Best Picture, but somehow these actresses are on for Best Actress, which is kind of
maybe that speaks to the fact that there were a lot of male leads in the Best Picture category as opposed to female leads, right?
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah. I see that. Because I was like, why is it like there's a lot of Best Actresses nominated, but none of them have Best Pictures nominated? So that might be the case where the movies that were nominated for were mostly male leads. That's a good one, yeah. But yeah, I'll definitely see some of this movie. Unfortunately, I haven't seen most of these movies. I guess they were maybe big blockbusters or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Being the Ricardos keeps coming up, so I'm definitely going to see that soon. And the rest of them. Kristen Stewart, I like her as well. Susan Spencer, so she's nominated for Best Actress. Olivia Colman for Lost Daughter. Jessica Chastain for Eyes of Tammy Eye.
I really like Jessica Chastain, and I've always just admired her presence on screen. Mm-hmm. She has a way of driving the story regardless of what role she plays. And I'm curious to see this performance in Eyes of Tammy Faye.
For sure. I
mean, get my take on it.
I definitely want to see Kristen Stewart's movie because I don't remember the last thing I know I've seen one more movie after Twilight. Everyone knows her from Twilight, right?
Yeah.
And what else has she been in? I'm pretty sure I saw something else. Oh, Charlie's Angels. She did the reprisal for Charlie's Angels in 2019. And since then I haven't really seen anything. But yeah, Spencer is basically about the Princess Diana, right? She plays Princess Diana in that movie, I think. So we'll watch it, see how that goes.
Yeah, we should have like an Academy Award watch party where we see all these nominees.
For sure.
Like a marathon.
Yeah, interested to see who wins. There's two black actors nominated for Best Actors this year. So
the last time that happened, I think Denzel won out with Training Day ahead of Will Smith.
All right. Oh, they're going against each other again.
Yeah,
wow,
yet again.
Look at that.
Yes. And so, yeah, should be fun. I know you're rooting for Will Smith in this one, right?
I feel like he put work into his character, and I think it's about time. He doesn't have an Oscar yet.
I don't think so.
Right?
No, he doesn't have an Academy Award as a lead.
Yeah, so I think he should, because he should have won one for at least I Am Legend.
I know he has a few amazing, priceless performances.
Yeah, I Am Legend, which is going to come up with a sequel that they're working on, I believe.
He's also involved in the sequel.
Yeah. I Am Legend was, a great movie. We've got Independence Day. That's also a great movie. Yeah, but I don't think he doesn't have any Academy Awards yet, just nominations.
Yeah.
So I think he deserves one.
I think Ali was the one people thought he would win when he portrayed Muhammad Ali. And I think that was the same year Training Day came out. So it was one of those things where it's like, y'all should have just given Denzel this thing for Malcolm X. So right now would have been a good chance to give Will Smith for Ali. But yeah, it never happened like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, but the Academy Award film marathon should be a thing. I think that's an idea we should explore.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of explore, it's a nice segue. Windows 11 in our tech story this week. Windows are exploring the
Windows
idea,
Explorer.
Yes, the idea of putting ads inside of Windows Explorer, and I think that's just like
we don't have enough ads already.
That is ridiculous. And I know Apple and Google are constantly guilty of this, of putting ads in products you've already paid for. Like, you open the box of your new iPhone, you're spammed with ads for like Apple Music, Apple Arcade and things like that. Like, bro, chill. I already paid for this device. I'll decide when I want to subscribe. Google's are the same thing with like YouTube Premium in your face. And now Microsoft, I think, is trying to join the notorious gang. Like, why would you put an ad inside of my folders and subfolders?
Like, to me, it makes no. I'm not sure how these guys come up with these things, or if they don't have anyone in the advisory board, like, telling them that this is not a good idea. Like, why would I want to open my File Explorer, open my picture folder, and see ads? It makes no sense. It makes no sense to me. Like, that doesn't even add up. Like, I'm storing this. I bought a computer, my personal computer. I have files on it. I store my files on that computer, and you're telling me now when I open up a file, I should be seeing ads? Come on.
Microsoft ended up coming forward talking about, well, this test was not supposed to be leaked. Okay, well, now you're busted. Now we know what's happening. Imagine having a recipe.
I mean, someone probably leaked it because they heard and they were like, this is utter nonsense. Like, I'm going to leak this to the press.
Exactly.
Because it makes no sense.
Imagine having a recipe folder and you start seeing ads for restaurants near me inside of your Explorer window.
Yeah, and that's like borderline creeping up on our privacy, because like, why are you looking at my personal folders?
Right.
I mean, it's okay. It's one thing to look at my browsing history and seeing what we're searching if we're connected to the same Wi-Fi, but to now start looking into my personal folders, is there nothing sacred?
Yeah, I feel like they'll walk it back for now just because of the uproar. But the fact that they've proven, I think what documents show now is it can be done. So we know that, especially with Windows 11, they've marketed this product as one of the best operating systems.
Guess who's not getting Windows 11?
Pretty much, right? Everyone is stuck on Windows 10 right now because apparently Windows 11 has so many limitations, and I feel like it's one of those operating systems that Microsoft is putting out there to give them more leverage on how they can do experiments like this, against the will of the end consumer, which is unfortunate. I know they're going to walk this back a little bit, but ultimately, since they know they can do this and people know for sure that technically it is possible, I feel like they're still going to do it at some point.
Well, hopefully that'll be after my time. And the one that's there can deal with it then.
Oh, man. So, yeah, Microsoft, if you're listening, please don't go the same route as the rest of the guys. And do not put ads in our File Explorer because you're going to see what you don't want to see.
My File Explorer is clean.
Yeah. All right. One story that is circulating has been obviously a ripple effect of the current global crisis with this war in Ukraine. I don't know if it's a global crisis, but it's turning out to be affecting literally everyone. Because at some point, we're all going to be touched by this, whether it's the price of bread or the price of gasoline. It's a global crisis. Another thing that came out of it is Chelsea FC, which is owned by Roman Abramovich, who is always constantly linked to Vladimir Putin. And this is going to obviously affect Chelsea FC on and off the pitch. How do you see it?
I mean, it's hard to see where you can stand on this, right? Because I did read a story. I'm not sure how true this story is, but basically Roman is responsible for Putin being in power. From what I read, he was the one that basically has suggested Putin to take over from the previous person in power, right? And that suggestion was taken. And obviously, the government bought back Roman's company for, billions more than he bought it for, right? Making Roman, a very, very rich man, right? So this talks about how close they are in their friendship, even though he's publicly denounced Putin, but that must just be, he's just saying that for PR, right? Like, oh, but, back there making phone calls, don't worry, Putin, I'll tell the press that I don't care about you. Those kind of conversations, but who knows? Slippery slope, because, he lives in the UK. I know this stuff may affect the club, and obviously it's not just about him. There's other people that work there. There's British people that work for the club. Yeah. There's other international players that work for the club. So they need to be careful in how they handle it, right?
Yeah, it has to. It requires a lot of close attention because of the ripple effect. Like you say about the job opportunities it creates. Even just the small businesses surrounding Stamford Bridge are booming because people walk through their streets ever so often and buy the little things they have on game day. And all the sanctions that has been put on this man right now directly affects the club. Like his assets have been frozen. Regards to Chelsea, I think they've been banned from getting into any kind of market for player transfers. Obviously, you look at the way they're playing right now, it doesn't seem like anything is happening because they're scoring goals, they're winning matches. They just played in the Champions League and they're through to the next round. But this is a man who was willing to lose $3 billion of his money to run this club. That's how much he's lost running Chelsea. But the upside, if there's any, in that is they have been the most successful club in England since his arrival. I think 19
some of that money,
trophies.
easy come, easy go, like this year as well, right? Like he bought the oil firm for 200 million, but sold it for billions. So it's just whatever. It was a profit that wasn't meant to make anyways. The company was worth billions when he bought it, when he purchased it from when it was privatized, by the Russian government. So, has he really lost $3 billion of his own money? That's another way to look at it as well. So.
Yeah, it's an interesting story. It's going to play out, obviously, over the coming weeks, months, who knows, maybe years. But one thing a lot of people are pointing at is the hypocrisy, what they say of the government. Because it's not like this guy just walked into the UK last week, Tuesday. This guy's been here for years. You already know what he does. You know who he is. And you let all these things go by up until this very moment. And now you're trying to make it seem like you just had a aha moment, eureka.
Yeah. And this might have long-reaching effects for the Western economy as well, because people might not see Western countries anymore as a safe haven for their wealth as well, and might start looking for other avenues to, put their funds in as well. So, let's see how it all plays out, right? We're here for the long haul.
Yeah, go invest in Africa. Go buy that land in Zimbabwe, in Zambia, in Lagos. Go invest in Africa. That's where you should put your money right now, not in Swiss banks, right?
Standard.
All right, I think that pretty much wraps it up for us in this episode. It's been a great one. We just came out here to chill, and we should be on air again next week.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see you guys then.
All right, looking forward to the summer. Everyone just take it easy one day at a time, and until next time, it's Backyard Conversations. Peace.